Hi, everyone. Good evening, or perhaps good afternoon, wherever you are. It's great to see everybody on here. If you are on live, ping me, say hello in the chat. It'd be great to see you and do some individual work while we're on as well. If you're not in live, write a comment afterwards and let me know what you think. We're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna discuss. And then we will get into our meditation program as usual. So I'm really excited to be on with all of you tonight. I have this picture behind me of the Meher Baba Samadhi in India. I meditated here for a long time. I have that up because Meher Baba has just been coming through really strong. And almost every time I think about him these days, I just feel incredible energy rushing in, including right now when I started thinking about him just before coming online 5 minutes ago, just feeling tremendous energy. And he's really pushing me to get out there now. And I think he has some energy, a lot of love, grace, and energy to send through to everybody who might be listening now or who might be coming on the replay a little bit later. So I think we'll start out with a little bit of music. This is one of my favorite Baba songs, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see where this program goes. We'll see where Baba wants to take it, and we'll just have some fun with it this evening. So I will get that queued up for you guys. We get started.
जिसकी सृष्टि का निर्माण उसकी दैवी अनंतता का कैसे हो अनुमान। आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, नमो ब्रह्म आवो मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो, मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो, मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो। आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, नमो ब्रह्म आवो मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो, मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो, मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो। प्रेम दीप में दिए जलाऊं, प्रेम दीप में दिए जलाऊं, निबिड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊं, निबिड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊं। अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊं, अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊं, तुम मुझको सरसाओ मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो, मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो, मेर प्रभु आरती अपनावो। हमारी, जीवन की हर सांस हमारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी, बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी। हे करुणा कर लीलाधारी, हे करुणा कर लीलाधारी, तुम करुणा बरसाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ। बने आरती जीवन मेरा, बने आरती जीवन मेरा, आदि अंत का लय हो तेरा, आदि अंत का लय हो तेरा। खुले नयन और दिखे सवेरा, खुले नयन और दिखे सवेरा, तुम मुझ में छा जाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ। आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, नमो ब्रह्म आओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ मेरे प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ।
Wonderful. So we will move now to our regular program. Thank you, Jeff. Let's see. For people who are new or just tuning in, I'm just gonna share one image here because you know there are many processes that we do and we work with. One of the more time-consuming ones, so it comes up a lot, so it's just worth knowing about, has to do with removing blockages and clearing them throughout our system. And there are just so many blockages that as we go through them, and an individual blockage we may move through quickly. Sometimes we move through multiple in a single session, or sometimes it takes more time than that. But as a whole, just because of the number of lifetimes and the complexity, it takes a while. And this is one illustration that shows that it's a network. These blockages interlink with each other. And that's why the order in which we remove them in matters. So that's why the green one is highlighted. It's one kind of out on the side. It's not as connected. And that may be one that we're removing first. And, and some of there are also very large blockages, which have an outside effect on how we perceive them. Some of those may be easier to get at. We may have to remove less stuff around, and some may be really deeply buried within and locked in a matrix of smaller blockages, and we kind of have to dig our way through. So that is a little bit about some of the work that we do here and why it is a involved process. That's why it's a process. So just a little bit of background. always more to come on that. A couple of other things that are going on. One new thing this week is that we're going to have what I'm calling a small session, which it's not going to be live streamed, and there's just going to be a handful of people there, a small amount of people. And if you like more of the individual style work where I get to tune into you, then that's a great opportunity to come in and stop by. We're going to be doing it for the first time this week, and it's going to be 2 hours earlier than the time it is now, at 3 p.m. Central European Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. And you're welcome to sign up at jonahbernstein.com, my first name, my last name.com/small. So that will that's something that you are welcome to sign up for. I'll put that in the chat. And of course we have the weekly Meher Baba specific meditation on babazoom.net, and that will also be Thursday at 12 p.m. EST. So we will proceed now with our regular meditation program. We'll get some music queued up for that in a second. And as we're queuing up, this will be some light meditation music. It's going to have a low bell to remind people to kind of check in, be with their breath, stay with the sensations in your body, stay present, stay away from the thoughts as much as you can, and that will help us in how we remove our blockages. The other thing that we do is the thought pattern dissolve process, where if you're having a lot of thoughts, you employ a mental strategy. And if you're new, you can start with the first step of that, which is to categorize the thoughts as they're coming in, to label them. Generally think of one or two words that describe the topic of that thought, and that's begin to give you a handle of that. And we go much more in depth with a whole system with 4 steps that helps tie those mental thoughts and that thinking in with the actual meditation that we're doing now. So let's get started. I'm sure I will chime in at some points as well. And if I do chime in, keep your eyes closed. Stay with the breath. If you do want to look at it, you can, maybe check it out after you've replayed it once or listened to it once. But the kind of the meat and the potatoes of what we're doing happens and is facilitated by the eyes closed process. Okay. As we begin here, to help us sink in, we can chant Om 3 times.
Hi,
And you
it's
can
really good
chant along with
to
me.
see everyone this morning, this evening.
We're going to have a short class as we get started. We'll be talking about blockage removal, how it works in our process during these meditations. And we'll explore that with an animation to help us visualize more. And then we'll go into our usual meditation. And if there are particular people here, either in the Zoom that you can access at jonah.com is, or I see you on Facebook, I will be checking in on the feed. And if I see people there, and especially people who are interested um, in some personalized attention, I'll tune into your field and give some direct guidance and also check up on the work that's going to be going on for everyone in this meditation. And if I'm working on one person and their particular issues, the energy and the intelligence behind that issue will spread out to everyone. And of course, you're all receiving individualized attention during this process from my higher self, which is an orange Andromedan dragon that specializes in healing and Reiki healing, and also from your guides and the energy that all right, we had a slight sound issue, but it's all good. It's all very good. So close your eyes, be in the meditation. You will hear me chime in at points. And I'll check the feed periodically for comments, other folks that have dropped by, and I'll tune in with you guys as I see you join in. So stay in the body. Stay with the breath. Gently clearing the field to get us started off. First start with jazz. He's gonna stay with her for some time. I'll be feeling some of what she's feeling and some of the things we're working on together. work we're doing, even though it's very focused on her right now, will benefit everybody either here now or who's listening to the broadcast. It will enhance our work on similar issues. We're going to some different places around the heart. Lower left, center. I'm gonna switch now. I'm gonna refocus on MV. MV, it is good to see you again here. And and we're gonna tune into you now. When I do this process, I can tune in specifically with my body and send energy directly into these blockages. When I do this, a lot of my experience changes, and I'll often begin, breathing differently. I can feel how you're breathing. And if you're funny sometimes, if your body is a different size than mine, sometimes I can get a sense of those differences in dimensions. We're hitting some points in the upper heart, which is an area just below the collarbone. We are moving around. We probably won't be specifically here for long. The upper heart's really the seat of the soul. If there is a center for the soul in the body, it is that upper heart area. That's quite high up in the chest, above where the heart center is, where we typically think of it. It's just below the collarbone. And it's interesting we're hitting this area now. Feel a lot of tightness in there that we're working through. Okay. head back and mosey on to the feed. Okay, got a comment from Esmelda, who's like a mother to me, a very dear friend. We go way back. So shout out to Esmelda and anyone who's from the Dominican Republic. We are with you now, shouting out, and I will tune in to you, Esmelda, now. Feel a lot of nice bright energy coming from you. I'm really glad, grateful for everyone who's taking this time now to meditate together, and everyone who watches in the live stream. You're all included in this energy, no matter what time you watch. I certainly do appreciate everyone who is live and making this space super vibrant right now for all of us. So your being here and your focus and attention is very much appreciated. You can feel it in the field. And you know, and doing this, we transmit energy, and that can, that can come through Baba if he's coming in strong. That can come through my higher self pushing that through, and then that energy is used in a very targeted, deliberate way to help heal you, help nourish you, your body, your mind, your soul, and help in all the processes that we do, all the complicated processes. Blockage removal, conceptually, we're getting our hands around that, but there's a lot of ways to move a blockage. There's actually a lot of different processes, some of which are quite complicated to remove certain blockages. There's ordering, there's grouping, there's surfacing the blockage, there's the integration that happens afterwards. There's making it all happen, seamlessly and not be overwhelming. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say in some parts in the US, and there's more than one way to remove a blockage, right? And for each of you, that process is going to be a little bit different. And we have these beautiful light beings, such as Meher Baba, such as my higher self, and such as the individual beings and angels that are very familiar with you and provide guidance and support constantly to every one of you. And this energy can be used as a platform for these divine beings, for these multidimensional beings, to help in this process and give us the assistance, so we're not just meditating on our own with nothing happening. We're meditating with purpose, we're meditating with assistance, and we're leveraging all that assistance and support, really all the assistance that we let ourselves open up to, leveraging it in removing these blockages or the other processes that these light beings who know every aspect of you can read your entire karmic structure in the finest detail and are more than willing to help orchestrate and guide this process in the best way. And they can, sometimes a bit of energy flowing through is all they need to grease the wheels, along, of course, with the most important thing, which is you being in a state that's receptive for that to occur. That's the most important thing. So you're being here, you're being in a place that's ready for healing and ready for growth. That's really the most important thing. And that's what we're doing here. And if you are just coming in and you're seeing these movements, so first of all, the best thing to do is close your eyes and not watch me moving around. But beyond that, I do move around and I don't control these movements. I let these movements happen as they're guided in order to send out the energy in the most conducive way possible. And these movements help us work on different things, help us massage in and around certain chakras of where we're working the most at this time. And sometimes we can get a sense of what some of these movements are doing. And sometimes I don't really get into it and I just let the process happen. There's only so much specific detail we're gonna get. But it is very interesting to see how the work unfolds and know some things about where we're working. We're refreshing the flow of energy through the system, up and down in the central line. And this is something we're doing now, but we will alternate. We'll move around the different parts of the system. And most of the work that goes on, although this isn't a group setting, it's individualized to all of you by our light being friends and family. We have all the time and the bandwidth to parcel this out and send it exactly where it's needed to every one of you. And we acknowledge their presence, support, and we're grateful for every bit of assistance that we do get. And just because we can't see them all the time with our physical eyes does not mean that they're not there, and they're very real and sometimes even more real. to check in on our feed, and I'll tune in to any new folks that may have come in. Again, appreciate you being here this evening. You know, every evening is different. Feeling very, very magical right now, very light. And you know, it's really all of you. Getting on this call with you is lifting the energy and the spirits of all of us. So I appreciate everybody who is here. We're now going to move over to Dritten Saga. I appreciate you, Dritten, for being with us this evening. We're going to tune into you now. And Dritten is also a light worker, an energy worker, and you can find him as well. He's also on Facebook and Instagram. And Britton's someone who is very dedicated to his spiritual practice, really kept at things for a while, keeps momentum up. Sending through some energy to you, putting some energy more vigorously up and down the central column. Feel some really nice energy coming through the palms, through the thumb, index, middle and ring fingers. Some energy that really wants to come through to you. Sometimes we don't always, see what's necessary, exactly what we're doing or the path ahead, but we keep plugging away and things become clear and open up over time. Just have to keep pushing on, plugging away. And Dritten is somebody who exemplifies that. and I'm really glad he's here right now. We're simply sending, the energy through right now, trying to send through more and amp it up a bit. Yeah, and the beings working with us are taking that where it needs to go. And I feel it ramping up through in the right hand in particular and shooting out. Some people might be feeling that in the heart right now. And for other people, it will be slightly down between the heart and the solar plexus. Okay, let's check in with our feed, with our folks. Rocky, it is beautiful with us now. Rocky, it is. So we are going to tune into you. And Rocky's a very interesting person. I look forward to getting to know her more, but I can tell she's extremely multifaceted, multidimensional, and there are a lot of really wonderful aspects to her that she will be developing over time. And I think some of those she started to glimpse already, and a lot of those will be blossoming in the coming years. And I'm really excited to follow her journey as she progresses and develops some of those unique and very special abilities. This hand gesture going, and again, Rocky, do keep your eyes closed. Moving energy from side to side. This is more unusual for our process. Clearing out some of the chest area, very, very gently kind of clearing the air, gently pushing out some things that need to be pushed out. And again, sometimes when we push away things, sometimes it is much more forceful, but now it's not. It's super, super gentle. We're just making some space in a very, very gentle, calm way for Rocky. And we're circulating the energy as we would open a window and breathe in a little bit of fresh air, almost like we were gonna turn on a fan, like kind of a slowly rotating fan right in our belly area to circulate the energy and freshen up the flow. Doing this in a counterclockwise fashion. And you could even visualize Rocky along with this if you wanted to. You could visualize a ball maybe the size of a tennis ball that is is moving around a circle about the size of a frisbee going counterclockwise, and you could visualize that happening. It would be a white tennis ball on a black background, like a black frisbee. You could hold that image and watch that moving around with about 1 second per rotation. So you could visualize that. You could do your best to visualize something like that now as we do this process and circulate. Okay, that's good. We will check into our feed. Rocky can keep up with that visualization for just a couple more minutes if you like. And we are now going to move on to Vesna. Vesna, I'm excited you're with us. Again, I know you're going through some tough times, and I really appreciate you being a trooper over here, sticking with us. Would definitely especially appreciate it in addition if you have time to check out that small group session that's more private, so we could be on camera all together Thursday at 3 p.m. German time, jonahbernstein.com/small to sign up for our smaller session. And it won't be smaller in terms of time. It'll be about an hour like we're doing now, but it will be smaller in terms of the size of the group. That'll be how it's small. So smaller in terms of a little bit of a more intimate gathering. All right, let's get some energy into your chest, to your upper chest. Using both hands to move that energy, bring it in, create a whirlwind inside the chest, on either side of the chest. I have both hands moving that energy, and let it begin to clear out all the things that have been holding you back, holding you down, all the things that you want to let go of, are ready to let go of. It's always going to be ready to let go of stuff, because we don't want this stuff. I mentioned before, there was a point in my life where I thought it was great to hold on to this stuff. I thought it made me who I am, to have all of this stuff and past scars and have all the blockages from all the bad things that happened in my past lives. And I thought that was really an important part of who I am. And the funny thing is that when I was embarking on a process similar to this in Coimbatore at the Sadhguru ashram, he made a comment one time as we were doing a process, like we are. I won't say it exactly like he said it now, but it sounded like an intimidating process, like it was gonna, change who I was by getting rid of these blockages. And he had an awesome, very, very forceful approach that I certainly felt at that time. But the truth is that we don't need to be afraid or carry any fear as we do this work, because as I learned later and really felt and understood as I went through this very lengthy process that I've gone through and that we are going through, right? A lengthy process, but one that gets to the root causes. What became extremely clear to me, I feel like I can keep talking as we continue to clear out our chests. What became clear to me is that we're actually not losing anything. We're not losing any parts of ourselves that we would want to hold on to. In fact, the actual self of who we are is actually beneath all of these blockages. And it's not until we begin to remove these blockages that we can really access who we are. Because if we have the blockages, they're creating all kinds of problems in our lives, physical problems, Then on the mental level, especially, this has been my case especially, they kind of clutter the thoughts so much, have all kinds of negative thinking, extra thinking, all manner of thinking, repetitive thoughts. And if we have all that going on, if our attention is focused on where all these blockages are leading us to, be that physical, be that mental, then who we actually are cannot be expressed. So the truth is, friends, folks, partners in this journey of healing, is that as we remove these blockages, we get more of who we are coming out. And where more of who we are, we get more creativity. We have the opportunity in this space to let those creative juices flow, have open awareness, feel things like joy. And in the past, and things I'm still clearing out, there's so much blockages, particularly those blockages in the heart area. It was a mighty hard time accessing to feel things like love and joy because of all these blockages that are there. So these blockages they're a part of us in the sense that we've had an experience most of the time in our past lives. There's so many blockages, they mostly did not happen in this life. Contrary to what we might initially think, what I initially thought, they're mostly from past lives. So they're a part of us in the sense that we had an experience most of the time that was really bad and traumatic. So we had that experience. It was our experience at that time. And it created this blockage. And now we get to choose and choose as we're doing the work if we want to really be energetically tied to that blockage and that past trauma, or if we want to, step back a bit and experience who we actually are aside from that blockage. And keep in mind that even though we may be clearing these past traumas, we still keep the knowledge that we learned from it. And that journey is still recorded in the Akashic records. So even if we energetically are no longer bound to the effects of that blockage, you could say we don't have the karma of that blockage hanging over us and controlling what happens to us in our lives and controlling how we think and feel, we still get the credit and the benefits from taking that journey. So yes, we are, if you want to call it losing, we are losing the energetic pull, and mostly the very negative energetic pull that blockage was creating. And if you want to be pulled by that blockage, and I don't know, I think in the beginning I also would have had the tendency, this is who I am, I think like this, and I want to stay like that. But for me, like very quickly in my life, it was just overwhelming with all of those blockages, all that weight. And it was just too much. I didn't have a choice. And I really wanted to get rid of those blockages and say, there has to be a better way. And I just had to imagine that life would be better without all the blockages and without all those negative effects. But it's up to every person. And I think a lot of people like to go through a journey over many lifetimes. And I think life, like it, is in the broader sense. Like is in the broader sense, right? There's a purpose for that journey, and their soul is growing over time through those trials and tribulations. But if we are at a point that we especially consciously realize that the blockages are there, and we want to make improvements in our lives, and we want things to be different, then it absolutely is the right time and space to make those changes. And we have every right to do that and determine how our lives are going to be. So for those people who decide that it is their time to improve and let go of some of these blockages that they've accumulated over so many lifetimes, if they decide it's time, then it is time. So for anybody now on the call that's decided that it's their time to work on these blockages, it's your time. And you don't have to feel bad, guilty, or scared about working on them. It's your right to do so. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I say all this because I've had, in this long journey, I've had so many different thoughts, and what I've later seen were misconceptions about how blockages work and how this process works and what is beneficial and what is not. So I try to share everything that I've learned along the way, that I'm still very much in the process of learning. And I just try to share and be transparent with everything that I do know and do not know as well. Because there's always going to be so much information, especially while we're in these human bodies, right, with limited access to information. There's always going to be so much that we do not know, so much that everybody will not know, or at least have to take time to figure out and to access. You get to a point where you can download information that can come in quicker, but a lot of information out there. Knowledge is definitely power. The more we know, the more we can do, the more we can improve ourselves, the more we can help others. So it's always good to expand knowledge, access to knowledge, and especially the knowledge that is relevant to our process and the process of self-improvement. And the language that I like to use is really the language of self-improvement, self-help, mental health, health in general. And that keeps us focused and grounded on the work we're doing, the concrete steps we're taking. And yes, there are beautiful spiritual beings that may help. Really interesting lately with some of the orbs in New Jersey, people have been seeing. Been very interesting to see those. And it's just one example of a multi-dimensional being that is showing itself, in this case, in light. And it just goes to further show the reality of things that we do not always see or perceive with our naked eye. And I'm feeling great, in this process. I'm feeling nice and light. We continue here. I'm really grateful for this time, for all the support that I'm getting as we all move through together in this process. Doing a lot of work in the chest, expanding, contracting, massaging around the heart chakra, the Manipura chakra, getting things moving, getting a really nice flow going. And I hope all of you are feeling the same. Lubricating the spine. All right, that's good. So thank you to Jazz. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in live. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in on the replay. If you tune in the replay, drop a comment. Let me know how you're doing. And I will keep track of you and reply to you with a link for an upcoming video course that we'll be putting together. So want to wish you the best for this evening. We'll be on tomorrow as well in our live stream program. And again, there's a couple of other interesting new programs this week. small groups Thursday, 3 p.m. EST, the Baba meditation, 12 p.m. EST, both on Thursday. So I will see you all soon. God bless you all and good